All right, welcome back. Another episode of the College Football Show. Brooke Kirchhoffer is on vacation. Mike Triplett is here in her place. Huge week in college football. The playoff rankings are out. LSU's got Alabama on Saturday night, and Tulane plays East Carolina. We're going to break that all down right after these ads. Are you ready to experience the magic of Mardi Gras in a whole new way? Welcome to UniqueNolaThrows.com, where they're reimagining the Mardi Gras throw tradition. At UniqueNolaThrows.com, they offer distinctive throws that serve not just as festive accessories, but as keepsakes to cherish beyond the Mardi Gras season. Their products are carefully curated to capture the Mardi Gras spirit in every detail, from light-up headbands that illuminate the night to vibrant scrunchies that add a pop of color to any ensemble. They're committed to keeping their throws affordable, making it easier for everyone to hold a piece of Mardi Gras magic in their hands. Because they believe that every throw counts, they want everyone to experience the joy of giving and receiving a unique and thoughtful throw. They invite you to join them in creating a new narrative for Mardi Gras. UniqueNolaThrows.com is a platform for everyone to express their love for Mardi Gras in a thoughtful manner. They're inspired by the happiness, the camaraderie, and the passion that Mardi Gras stirs in all of us. Visit Unique Nola Throws today to explore their fresh collection and find the perfect keepsakes for your next throw. What could be more thrilling than adding to the carnival atmosphere with items that will be cherished long after the parade? Together, let's redefine Mardi Gras, making each parade more memorable, sustainable, and exciting. UniqueNolaThrows.com, where every throw counts and the spirit of Mardi Gras is alive in each and every one of us. UniqueNolaThrows.com, where the essence of Mardi Gras lives on. First college football playoff ranking is out. The top four, no surprises: Ohio State, Georgia, Michigan for now, I guess. That's a wild situation. And Florida State at number 4. LSU is at 14. Tulane is at 24. You got any thoughts on that?
Well, Tulane at 24 is fascinating because of who's at 25, Air Force. And they're kind of battling for that one non-power conference bowl spot. Here's the question. If they both win out, the committee chairman said they were impressed by their quality loss to Ole Miss, who's ranked 10th, because they did that even without Michael Pratt in the lineup. They were impressed with their road win at Memphis. But will the committee, if this continues and Air Force finishes undefeated and Tulane wins out, do they still keep the undefeated team behind? Like, can Tulane just hold serve the rest of the way? But that's a good sign for them that Tulane might not even need Air Force to lose to get in there. But obviously, I don't know what's at stake for LSU. I don't know if they could possibly get in there, but they can definitely blow up the SEC if they get a win this week.
Yeah, no, it'd definitely be fun if they get a win this week. We're going to break that game down with T-Bob Hebert. He's going to come in. I'm sure he's fired up with Alabama. This is always his prime time of the year. And Jha'quan Jackson will join us to break down all the action with Tulane. All right, we bring in T-Bob Hebert of OTB, Snaps, pretty much anything to do with LSU. You're going to see him talking about it. Talks here every single Thursday. Big game this week coming up against Alabama. You've been in that atmosphere before. You've played in that stadium. Like, how crazy is it going to be when they kick off Saturday night?
Oh, it's going to be awesome, man. It is going to be. And, you see this. I'm not saying it's like wholly unique, right? Because you see this a few places in college football. But it is one of those situations where it epitomizes the best part of college football, which is the just insane, almost like medieval-esque passion and the fever pitch that some of these games can reach when you have 100,000 people in a stadium that are living and breathing and dying on every single play. Like this is the sort of game, make no mistake, where if you care about either one of these teams in this game, when you started thinking about the game on Sunday, you started to feel it in your balls a little bit. Like you started to feel a little nervous, a little anxiety start to creep in already. But that's what makes it so great. I think we've actually talked about it on this show in this year, Nick, but like one thing that this football season has really made me realize is I love the anxiety of the unknown. Like, I love the fight. I love feeling like my heart is going to be ripped out at any given moment because it makes you feel alive. And there is no other form of passive entertainment that makes you feel more alive than watching a football team that you love go do battle. And this Saturday in Tuscaloosa, again, like as you said, I played in that stadium It gets insane. It's going to be loud as they've ever been, and it's going to be why college football is so special, so badass, and so much fun.
T-Bob, I was going to ask you this even before you gave that answer about how fans feel about this game. Sometimes fans get more into rivalry games than the players themselves, but what is the tension on the players? Is it excitement? This is the game I've been waiting for all year. Pressure, everybody judges me based on this one. Like, does Alabama game feel different for the players this week?
Yeah, of course. It's all of it. I mean, it is a classic rival. Now, in the newer transfer portal age, it does seem like, teams are a bit friendlier with one another. I still have to imagine, though, that these guys hate each other. I don't know if it's like the all-out hate that I feel like, me and some of the other old heads used to have back in the day, where like we knew kids that like transferred to Alabama, and those were kids that went from being very good friends to people you literally never spoke to again for the rest of your life. No dapping up after the game, no helping anybody up off the ground, none of that bullshit. I don't know if it's still like that, but I mean, you don't like him. This is a team that stands in the way of you accomplishing all your goals. If you're LSU, you want to win the SEC West. You win this game. Like, I don't think Ole Miss is going to beat Georgia. So I say functionally, LSU controls their own destiny. You win this game, you're suddenly in the driver's seat to go to Atlanta, maybe vie for an SEC championship, take advantage of this incredible Heisman level offense that you have. So for LSU, yeah, it checks all the boxes, Mike. There's personal stakes. Like, if you grew up an LSU fan and you're playing in this game, you probably grew up hating Alabama. There's functional stakes when it comes to everything we just talked about, winning the West, trying to compete for championships. And there's individual, like, you want to play in the NFL, go play well this game. Like, it's cool if you want to dominate Auburn's secondary or whoever else. But guess who the highest graded secondary in the country is according to PFF? Alabama. So Malik Neighbors, Brian Thomas, you go pop off against these cats. Well, guess what? There's going to be a lot of scouts in the game. You're Jaden Daniels, someone who, as an NFL prospect, still doesn't get a ton of love, but got almost no love before the seasons. He worked his ass off on learning progressions, learning to be a more complete quarterback. Okay, you want to put your best NFL foot forward? Go dominate this very good Alabama defense. So and then at the end of the day, there's 100,000 people that want to see you fail, which is intimidating, but also invigorating, as shutting up a stadium is one of the great all-time sports feelings. So, no, I mean, this checks every single box when it comes to adrenaline, getting your blood pumping. This is what football and really just sports in general is all about. Like, if you don't want to play in this game, well, then what are you doing? Why are you here in the first place? Because this is what you work your ass off year round for.
Well, that was like a damn hype video right there, man. Okay. They need to clip that LSU social, just put some video over it and just let it run.
What's all right? X's knows though. What's the biggest challenge in this game if you're taking the emotion out of it?
It's a classic. It is going to put the cliche to the test that you're only as strong as your weakest link, right? Because LSU clearly has the strongest link in the game. Like, as good as Alabama's defense is, this is not an otherworldly Alabama defense. They're probably second best in the SEC to Georgia, whereas this LSU offense is otherworldly. Like, they're best in the country in all these statistical categories for a reason. It's not fluky. It's not by accident. This is a spectacular offense. In the same vein, your weakest link is much weaker than that of Alabama's. Like, yes, this Alabama offense is definitely way more human than some of the offenses that we've seen recently, but really just kind of not that good, but they're not terrible like the LSU defense is, right? Like, Jalen Milroe's not an overwhelming quarterback, but he is efficient. Like, you look up and he is still the second highest rated passer in the SEC. I think he's actually 8th in the entire country, shockingly enough, even with that 13-5 touchdown to pick ratio. So again, your greatest strength is greater than theirs, but your greatest weakness is greater than theirs as well. And I think traditional wisdom dictates that probably means LSU loses, especially going into Tuscaloosa against Alabama and Nick Saban. But, whatever. Who gives a damn? I'm too close to this case. The commissioner already took me off. He made me turn in my badge and my gun. And guess what? I threw the mask on. I'm going vigilante style on this shit. I don't care. I'm still out in these streets, and I'm ready to feast on the flesh of a decaying empire. And this is my message to Alabama fans, because I know there's a lot of NewOrleans.Football subscribers who are Saints fans. Saints fans tend to transcend the LSU-Alabama divide. So I would say this to all you Bama fans listening to me right now. I want you to recognize a very cold and a very harsh truth that is going to keep you up at night, even though it's not even spooky season anymore. And that is quite simply this: you have already lived through your best times. Make no mistake, you will never achieve the heights that you have occupied over the past 15 years. You will die. This is a guarantee. You will die with Alabama football never being as good as it has been over the past 15 years. Full stop. I don't care what happens. And look, I get it. Progress is not linear. There's one step back, two steps forward. Decline is not linear. Maybe you have a last gasp. Maybe you have a championship mix somewhere in there, but you will never achieve the consistent success. And so, like a great athlete or somebody who made all their money in their 20s, you have to deal with the insanity of recognizing that you already achieved your best self. You have peaked, and it's all downhill from here. You've already been cucked by Kirby Smart. Brian Kelly beat you year one. He's about to beat you here in year two. Like, I'm sorry, Alabama fans. Nobody wants to tell you the truth. Well, I am. You are in decline and will be until you die. And as you breathe your last breath, I hope you think of me and you see me smiling as I drink up all of those sad, salty Crimson Tide tears.
I don't know where to go right now, man. I don't know what to say.
That was his answer to the X's and O's question.
That's the thing. I'm so beyond X's and O's because, look, objectively, X's and O's, again, traditional football, I think logic dictates that, no, your defense is so poor and it's Nick Saban and all this other stuff that you should probably lose this game. But LSU has nothing to lose. Like, LSU lost this game 8 times in a row and got their ass kicked. Like, what is dead may never die, right? Alabama's the one desperately clinging on to the hope of what they have been, as what they are feels much differently. I will say this for Saban, though. I think that, and this is where Saban's dangerous to me right now, is he seems more alive than ever. And it's finally because of, like, instead of having to motivate from ahead, right? And you know what's not fun? Beating teams like 50-10 and still having to be like, you guys suck. Like, you have to be better. Like, finding, like, when you're actually in a fight and you can just be in the fight and you can bleed a little bit and you can get the adrenaline that comes from being on your back heel and being like, oh shit, like, we're in this. Like, you can see that Nick Saban's actually kind of thriving in this more pedestrian year than some of these other years where he just seems exhausted by continuing to have to use the lash when they're just clearly beating the hell out of teams.
So do you think Jaden can be Jaden Daniels against this defense? What do you expect to see from him?
Yeah, I think so. I think for me, though, look, I think it comes down to this LSU offensive line, because if you compare this offense to the 2019 offense, and it's an apt comparison, like, it's not crazy because both are otherworldly numbers wise. The only place where I would actually take the players on this offense over the other one is the offensive line. Like, I actually think the offensive line is fantastic. And they're going to go a long way towards, look, I want to say that you need, and maybe you don't, maybe Jaden proves me wrong here. I want to say that when LSU's at its best, though, it's obviously they're able to run the ball with Logan Diggs, especially in that inside zone. And so I think for Jaden to be at his best, you're going to have some success on the ground. I'm not too worried about protection. Like, yeah, you may lose some reps to Dallas Turner, but Jaden can make you right. Like, he can handle that. What I'll be impressed to see is if you can't run the ball that effectively, can Jaden just go full takeover? He did it last year. Against Alabama. So I would think he would be able to, but we'll see if that offensive line can make it easier on him.
We'll have Brandon email that to Saban in case he needs some motivation in his later years too. Saban's on the way out. And I'm not saying anything shocking there. That's not even coming from me. One of the shows that I do with AJ McCarron, and granted, we haven't talked about this much lately, but like earlier this year, AJ was saying that there's a ton of whispers that Saban kind of feels like, maybe this is going to be his last hurrah. He's got the new house of Juniper or whatever, or Jupiter, whatever it is. He's a grandparent now. Like, but again, it doesn't matter. Like,
what, 5 more years? 7 more? It doesn't matter. Like, I've got time. I've got nothing but time. Saban does not, unfortunately.
Look, Alabama seems to have figured out their QB situation. What's the matchup on the other side of the ball, especially if LSU secondary isn't at full strength?
It's so that's where it gets weird, right? Because you're now down to 3 true freshmen and Sage Ryan as your corners, none of which is really anything to write home about. You're down an All-American D lineman in Mekhi Wingo, who's now out for the year. But it's almost like one of those situations where, okay, you've been so bad all year that what is this but more crap on a pile of crap? So, like, I don't know. I'm kind of unsure as to how much I think it matters. With Jalen Milroe in this Alabama offense, it is clear that they want to make their hay with explosives. So it's more important now than ever that LSU plays assignment football and try to make Alabama sustain drives. Because when they have had to sustain drives this year, that's when they've gotten into trouble. That's when they'll throw picks. That's when drives will go awry. I will say this, though. There is kind of an awful hidden catch-22 in there where if you try to force them to play underneath you and you maybe allow some short gains to try to make them sustain. If they do sustain it, well, that could be trouble then because all of a sudden you're taking the ball out of Jane Daniels' hands. Like if you're allowing them to completely dictate the pace in that manner, well, that's a problem as well. So it's tough, man. The offense is going to have to win this game, and the defense is going to have to do enough. I will say this, Mike. One thing I keep hearing about is you got to get pressure on Milroe. You got to get pressure on Milroe. I don't know that you do or that it matters. Like LSU hasn't been terribly good at rushing the passer anyway, and Jalen Milroe this year is completing 75% of his passes when pressured. Oof, he's got like an NFL quarterback rating of like 125 or something. And he's been sacked more than anybody in the SEC, and it doesn't matter. Alabama's still sitting here at 7-1, controllers of their own destiny. So, like, ironically, this is one of the few games where I'm just kind of like, yeah, you pressure him, you don't, whatever. You know, if anything, stop the run. Like, if you could shut down McMillan in the rushing attack and then avoid letting Jalen kill you with his legs getting outside the pocket, like, those are the actual keys to me.
What were your thoughts on the playoff rankings?
I think there's actually one big interesting takeaway, which is that the Big 12 does not control their own destiny. For all the talk of Oklahoma and Texas and blah, 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 how good they are, if you look at it, if every other, like, that's the most fascinating part about the initial rankings is it just tells you where the conferences stand in the hierarchy. And right now, a Big Ten team will clearly make it. You know, barring a 2-loss LSU winning, an SEC team will make it. We believe, or not believe, but I mean, look, Washington and Oregon are in better spots than Oklahoma and Texas. And I think that Washington and Oregon will emerge as a 1-loss champion with a better resume and will find their way into that game. So it's like all of a sudden, I don't care if Texas and Oklahoma win out. They will not make it if everybody else takes care of business. Oh, and then there's Florida State, who has the clearest path. And if you're Florida State, this is like hardcore don't choke mode because every other contender has a lot of ranked games left to play. You have no one. And depending on how things break in the ACC, like you may not even get a ranked team in the ACC championship. And yet you're still in the top 4. And nobody's going to leapfrog you if you stay undefeated, right? No Texas or Oklahoma with 1 loss is going to leapfrog you. So like Florida State, Norvell, you've done it, man. You're on the edge here. Just finish the fight.
I got one more for you. You've already announced Nick Saban's retirement on the show, which I think was big news. We should clip that. How important is this for Brian Kelly, or what does it mean if he beats him in back-to-back years?
Well, I think the rewards are much greater than the consequences, so it's a bit of a pressure-free situation for Kelly. Now, make no mistake. You go out there, you get embarrassed, you lose this game, whatever. People are going to be pissed. Because all of a sudden you're going to look up and you're going to have this team with a championship offense with a 6-3 record. And a 6-3 record that can be traced back to just some really head-scratching, inexplicable camp observations. Like for the second year in a row, LSU has emerged from camp not knowing at all what kind of team they had. That's inexcusable. Now, for the second year in a row, they seem to have gotten much, much, much better as the season gone on. That's great. That's something you hang your hat on. But like, yeah, if I guess it's all to say people will be upset with Kelly if you lose, but there's not as much to be lost as there is to be gained with a win. Because if you win, you're now 2-0 against Nick Saban at LSU. You go into Tuscaloosa and you win. That'd be 3 of the last 5 against Alabama. And so although I would say the Alabama spell has been broken, right? Like the 8 years that you suffered under the heels of Crimson oppression definitely don't loom as large anymore. You would not only completely break it, you would actually flip it, where all of a sudden we have to be saying, well, wait a second, under Brian Kelly, should LSU start being the favorite in this game? So there's great rewards for Kelly here with relatively minimal consequences. Not a bad place to be.
All right, that's all we got for you, man. T-Bob Hebert. I don't even know what to say about this.
I hope LSU brings it for rivalry week like T-Bob did on
Look, man, the boys, I know that, look, I got faith in this offense. This offense ain't going to be scared. I don't know if they win the game, but I expect the offense to do their job. I believe in JD5 and Jaden Daniels. I think we'll see, man. We'll see. It's like, y'all ever seen Mad Max Fury Road?
Yeah.
One of the greatest action movies of all time. Well, you know, when the Blood Boys, they get out their chrome spray paint, they spray their mouth, witness me, and they go in their kamikaze death run. Like, that's what LSU should play like this week. And they have nothing to lose and everything to gain. Valhalla sits right there. Immortality. Just go and fucking take it.
Oh, I got one.
Have a great day.
Hold up. I got one very important question before we let you go. What's your take on the Planet of the Apes trilogy? I feel like you're the right guy to ask. Get him out of here. Close it. He's gone. Get him off.
It's all right. I got a little sick of it by the end of the new one, dude. The first one was pretty good. I
take it back.
I can leave it.
Man of poor taste.
Y'all take it easy, man.
Yeah, thanks for coming on. All right, we welcome in Jha'quan Jackson. First of all, man, saw you got knocked out of the game. How you doing? How's everything been so far?
Oh man, I'm good, man. Just got a little my head hit the ground. Just went into the concussion protocol. The safe way to go and just not come back in the game. So the docs took my helmet and everything. So rest of the game, I just coached the game.
And just you guys got off to another fast start in this game. What do you think has kind of been the key to that, like this season, for you guys to be able to hit every game, kind of hit the ground running and execute the way you want to early in games?
Just like we start practice each and every week, we start fast. That's the main thing we talked about, start fast, and we start to bring in talking about finishing, always this is the second half. You got to keep going, keep our foot on the gas and keep going, and I think we done a better job, at keeping our foot on the gas, but sometimes a little bit we let it get away from us, but I just, at the end of the day, I just think about, I think we just want to make it a good game, you make it exciting. It's not a blowout all the time, but that's our goal is just to come alive the second half like we do the first half.
Some teams script like the first 15 plays or whatever. Do you guys do that, or is it just kind of they're calling it every week?
They call it every week. You always go over the top plays that you like and everything, and whenever Coach Nagel feel great to call the play that he gonna call. But we always have a game plan where we go over that, we make sure that we know everything, and we be in the right spot at the right time.
And Alex Bauman's kind of been finding the end zone, it seems like, regularly. Is he a little bit underrated? Should people be paying a little more attention to him?
Most definitely. Not even just him, just everybody on our offense. Just as I said, we are an offense with a lot of weapons, and different weeks we use different people in different ways. Just as you said, Alex Bauman been scoring back to back. Last week he scored, this week he scored. I think he scored 2 last week and won this game. So we just use our guys in different ways to get them the ball and help us win,
What's he kind of do like in the red zone that makes him effective? Is it just kind of he knows how to use a bigger body? Or
one of the things I would say that Coach Nagel does a great job at with running the ball and like passing game, just when you're playing, like when you're a tight end which blocks a lot, and then you can just slip him out in the flat over the top or shallow, and just throw him the ball, he get lost in the sauce, because you're always thinking, like when you watch a film, you're like, well, in this formation, he doing this. In that formation, he doing that. But it just giving a lot of looks to where it looks the same, but at the end of the day, you got to stop it. And not even just him, everybody else, Like 2 weeks ago, we threw it to Chris Carter, down the middle versus Memphis. So it's just different ways, putting different people in position.
Do you guys do a good job of that? Like kind of just eliminating tendencies based on formation and look? Like, is that something that's kind of like a part of your offense?
Oh, yeah. That's just not even our offense, just around the world, Everybody make it look the same each and every week. It might look the same, but it's not, It's just around around college football and NFL, you see everybody they take plays away from everybody else. You saw Miami Dolphins came out with the motion and everything, and then go back and the Rams and the 49ers ran it 2 years ago. So there's always room for improvement and different plays you can run and make it look the same, but it's really not the same. But it's just like everybody else in the world. They got film just like us. They could go and watch film. They do this on this first down, the second down, but make it look the same, but it's not. We gotta, just like everybody got to scheme each other. Like the defense scheme for the offense scheme for the defense. Somebody got to win.
Do you guys ever take plays from other teams? Like, do they install stuff they've seen somebody else do good, and it's like this works against this defense, and we can make it fit what we're doing? Is that something you guys ever do?
Nah, I wouldn't say we still plays. We probably run the same plays as other people, but it's just different ways that we call it. And just football, everybody run the same plays, just different ways you call it, and just execute it different ways. And you teach your quarterback how to read it, and the receivers and the tight ends and the O line and the running back how to block it. There's different ways you can do it and go about it.
How did you guys feel like you just executed the offense overall Saturday against Rice?
It was great. We came out with fire. First series we scored. We scored again and scored again and scored again. The score was 24-7. Then it got to kick the field goal 27-7. But just coming out of half, we talked about it all year. It's kind of been a struggle for us coming out of the second half and just trying to find that section where we just come out and just hit the ground running like we did in the first half. Just like Coach Fritz said, this week got some changes coming, just to see will it work and everything. Just trying to have that focus. I think just because we sit down and after we go over to make changes, we sit there and talk about what happened and this and that, and we had a good first half. I think we just get there and be flat. We sit there waiting to get back out there, and then we start stretching. So there's always ways to find to get better, But I think we're gonna do great this week. Just coming out the second half, not even just the second half, but the first half, and come out smoking.
Yeah, college does have that long ass halftime too. What is the challenge? Is that something you got to be kind of just aware of to not get too relaxed, not to lose the adrenaline and all that stuff?
Yeah, right. Because you're just sitting in your locker room, coach is not gonna talk to you the whole time, but you're sitting there just in your locker, just talking to yourself or just thinking about whatever you're thinking about, But you gotta keep your mind on the second half, third quarter coming. We got to keep the same mindset. But sometimes you veer off a little bit because you don't have nothing in front of you telling you, oh, we about to go run the play right now, because you got 14 minutes until you get on the field.
Man, I always say his name wrong. Chris Brazzell, he seems to be just doing more and more and getting more and more confident. Just what are your thoughts on how he keeps coming along?
He's a special kid, man. He's only, a redshirt freshman. By the time 2 more years, he's gonna be real. Not even 2 years, but next year he's gonna be real elite, man. He's special. He got the length, he got the hands, he can block, he got great routes, and he's a receiver that everybody would want in their offense. Make plays when the plays come to him, and just is excited. His dad played in the lead, so his brother played in high school. Right now, they all tall, and just a lot of people wish they had that the height that he have, and the ability that he have, but he's blessed.
What do you think about the playoff rankings? 24th.
I saw it, but we really don't get into that. We just worry about, as always, being 1-0 and just worrying about the main thing, because we'll let the outside know worry about that, and then hooray, and be happy about the number 24. But our main goal is being 1-0 and going win each game, a game each week, and worry about the championship, when it comes.
People say that, but how do you really have that mentality? Something like that doesn't. You guys aren't talking about what is it about the culture that allows it to be so focused that doesn't become a talking point?
As you look at the rankings, what do the rankings do for us? We get 19. What it do? It's just a number to us, and it doesn't put us into the national championship. It doesn't bring us whatever. It just. We're not worrying about that. Just as I said, is you get to veer off when you get stuck up with being number 19 in the nation or whatever, and then you're not worrying about the main thing. The main thing is just going 1-0 and just doing your 1-11 and worrying about that game instead of looking ahead.
How you go 1-0 this week?
Well, we've been going 1-0 since Monday team meeting, just going out there executing, doing the right thing, being disciplined, going to meeting, eating breakfast, eating the right meal, just extra film, extra study with coaches and just doing the right thing at practice and doing your 111, you know, and that's all it comes. And just come out the second half and ball out.
How you feel about like what's some of the stuff that stands out about East Carolina?
It run the same defense as North Texas, you know, with kind of the star defense a little bit, but they run everything on the defense. They disguise well. Their record 1-7, but they don't play like they're 1-7. You know, they're a hard nosed team. They're good on offense and good on defense. They got great coaches. You know, we've been going back and forth since we've been playing them 3 years ago. They gave us a butt whooping, you know, but we gave it back to them last year. And you know, just going into the game now, just worrying about us, not even the opponent, just worrying about us because that's the main thing. If we worry about them, we're not gonna do the right thing. We worry about us, and we're gonna be successful.
I appreciate you, man.
Man, appreciate you.